like I said, we're so engaged with the community here that everything's for the most part everything's so positive around here that it just keeps you going. Like I enjoy every minute of it. It's to me that's huge. If you love what you're doing, you're not and you don't ever feel like you're working. I mean,
You're listening to On the Road, a law enforcement journey. Hear from those currently on the force while getting an insider view from what it takes to become a law enforcement officer.
All right, welcome to episode 4 of On the Road, a law enforcement journey. Today we are with our first guest. It's actually my twin brother, Jason. I won't go too much introducing himself. I'll let him do that. Can you please give us a little bit on your background or a little bit about you?
Yep. So, similar background as you, pretty much the same exact thing. Once, graduated high school in 2004 and ripe age of 18 went in the United States military. So went in the Army as a military police officer, did that for 5 years, Fort Hood, Texas, did 2 tours to Iraq. Once I got out in 2009, my wife was working for the Department of Defense, so we bounced around the country for a while while I was doing schooling, got my associate's degree in criminal justice, lived downstate towards the Detroit area, probably like half an hour north, for almost 2 years. Came back home, had twin boys. I was just kind of being the stay-at-home dad for a while, and felt like I wanted to do something with my life. And I got to give props to Katie because she, my wife, because she found that Michigan had just recently started a Michigan Police Basic Training Program, which was for prior military police only. You had to meet a certain criteria and be within 5 years of being out. And this was, I believe, 6.5 weeks down in Grand Valley in Allendale. So she let me do that. Well, she brought that to my attention. So I went down the Grand Valley, and she stayed home with the kids, working full time, and she was pregnant with our daughter Brooke at the time. So I gotta give shout out to her for letting me do this because that was a huge opportunity, and 6.5 weeks as opposed to 18 or whatever it is now, a huge difference. But that was prior military police only. That was the specialty with that. But after I did that, I came back up here after 7 weeks. I started working at the Houghton County Sheriff's Department. Then I started working at the Calumet Village Police Department. Then Hancock City, and then Houghton City, and then I eventually got full time in Houghton City. It's about 5.5 years now, and that's where I've been ever since.
Yeah, it's a pretty big commitment with family, and then one on the way to even go through an academy. Even though it's more of a condensed version, it's still a risk to take, especially because there's no guarantee that you make it through the academy or life afterwards. So I guess going on the military side thing, I know it's hard to go back to when you're like 18 years old. Why did you join the military? Go military police. But I guess more from it after the military. So, but like, was the academy or police work kind of always on your mind in regards to trying to get that done?
Yeah, I find it funny now because I was just thinking about this the other day. Even when I went in the military, I think now, and I'm like, what pushed me to do, military police? But I knew when I went in the Army, I wanted to use something as a stepping stone. My ultimate goal is once I get out, I want to have some type of skill that I can transition to the civilian sector that would, make it easier for me. And I went with the military police route. And then I guess I didn't get to do too much of the police work in the military because I was with the Special Troops Battalion. So we did a lot of more combat-related stuff. But the little bit of police work I was able to do there, I loved doing it. I wanted to do more of it. But afterwards, I mean, I guess it's just that drive of just wanting to do something productive, meaningful. At the end of my time, I want to be able to look back at my life and say, I did something that was meaningful. I was able to partake in something that was bigger than myself. So I guess that's the biggest driving factor. There was no like particular moment that really drove me to go into police.
And that's interesting. You hit a kind of a big nail on the head. One of the things that's put me on the course to switching this whole career is having a bigger purpose, especially with the military. When you have so much around you, the camaraderie and all that stuff, and then you enter the civilian world, you have zero of that around. It's all gone. Everybody kind of goes their separate ways. And even my time of just doing the ride-alongs with you guys in Houghton, you get that sense of family, the camaraderie. So could you talk a little bit about like how your relationships or how is the culture at not only your department but the surrounding departments, because you guys got Hancock and the county sheriff's department just in that very close vicinity to Houghton as well.
Yeah, I can't. As far as most of, I worked for them, but that was like 5.5, 6 years ago. So I mean, I see a lot of those guys all the time, and it's we're a small community, so we all rely on each other. If there's only one or two of us working, we need to lean on each other, our neighboring departments, to help us out if we have some serious calls we got to attend to. It's awesome because you get to know everybody really good, not just know them by name, but you get to know a lot about who they are, where they're from. So it is a lot more like a family thing. You do feel that camaraderie thing that you miss out on. I know that's something I was missing out on. And yeah, the culture in our department, I mean, it's, I love coming to work every single day. I don't feel like I'm coming to work. It's the guys I get to work with, from, all the way chief down to the last guy. There's not one single person where I'm like, oh, I don't want to come into work. It's a lot of fun. Everybody's got each other's back. Everybody's professional. That's what we strive to, be a big part of this community and make our community proud, our families proud. And I feel like we do a pretty good job on doing that. And I would say the other departments also do that as well. I mean, we get to see all those guys all the time, and we all get along. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. I enjoy working with everybody from different departments, and it's a lot of fun.
No, that's awesome. And I saw that with the ride-alongs too. Now, do you guys do like anything, whether it be in your off time or like if you guys get a chance, as far as like I don't know if it's just getting together and having even like an hour just BS session or just a quick catch up on how everybody's doing? Are you guys able to do something like that?
Yeah, we do. We had the Pigs and Heat hockey game. That's every year. Houghton does that. Marquette does that. So it's the cops and firefighters, and they raise money. It goes to like someone loses their house in a fire or something. All that money gets donated to them to help out with funds and expenses. And it's a big deal up here. I mean, the players love it. We get a big crowd at the Michigan Tech, the SDC there where they play hockey. So we get a good turnout there. It's a big event. Everybody enjoys it. It's good for the community. I know a couple of years we were doing in the summertime. We did a brown versus blue baseball game. Basically, it was the sheriff's department versus all the local, I guess, city and village PDs, and we'd have a cookout afterwards and just spend some extra time getting to know each other and families and just do something outside of work. And then, of course, we have our, a lot of the guys get together every Monday night for hockey, or 1 hour, pretty much every Monday from probably October to April. Yeah, there's a good hour. Everybody gets together, go and play some hockey. You burn out some stress and get some good exercise in. A lot of fun. I haven't done it myself in quite a while, but family life gets busy and other priorities. So, yeah, there's lots of other things that go on that, opportunity wise, that you can get to know each other and form some camaraderie.
Yeah, that's you're not going to see that in a whole lot of other career fields, especially the outside of work aspect. It's not just colleagues. It's I don't want to say brotherhood too, because there's the females, but it's definitely that familyhood, especially when your families get to know each other and stuff like that. The sporting event's even cool, and people need no experience, right? Like anybody just can partake in that stuff.
Yeah, they have like the baseball stuff. It's just for fun. Hockey, they have usually the first period is played by a B team, which is people that have never played organized hockey. and then there's the last two periods are played by the A team. So it's people that have played some form of organized hockey, like high school and all that stuff. So it's a lot of fun. It brings everybody together and a good healthy competition.
Yeah, the community engagement. And before we touch more on this, because we can definitely go many routes with this, when I just want to go back to your time at GVSU quick, like,
Yeah.
Besides the condensed version, like, since it was a more condensed version, say, compared to like a regular full size civilian academy, what were the courses like? Was it like just the primary, I don't know if you want to say like criminal law and traffic investigation stuff compared to just having everything?
Yeah, we had so it's 6.5 weeks condensed, and like I said, this is specifically for military police. That prior military police, you had to have a certain amount of hours doing actual police work to meet the criteria for this. And so it was Monday through Thursday. We did, I think it was 10 in the morning to 10 at night. We did a lot of it was just classroom instruction, going over Michigan laws and going over everything, health and safety, taking care of yourself, mental health, uh, obviously tactics and hand to hand and handcuffing and all that stuff. We did our evening time was structured. We had 4 hours. It'd switch off. So like Monday and Wednesday would be like our legal training. We'd have a lawyer come in and go over all the legal stuff, the element of crimes and all that stuff. And then Tuesday and Thursday would be our, combatives training. So basically handcuffing and, trying to gain control over people, for lack of better terms. So just that type of stuff.
Gotcha. So yeah, and you definitely set out there to clarify too, is strictly only for military police. Now there might be other military people in here, or that listen to this, especially prior military police. And there are some aspects, especially going through the military, that might be a turnoff. Like there was some things that I didn't like about being in the military. Can you kind of? You said you didn't really do a whole lot of the police stuff but from the little bit that you did. Are they pretty similar, or is it pretty different on how things can be handled?
Yeah, it's way different, because when I came in, that was my first thoughts too, is that everything was back on the military. Like, oh, it's still, everything's just, I felt like was so black and white that, it's got to be done by the book, and you have this form and that form, and it's the same thing. And, you take someone's written statement, for example, you got to initial at the end of each like sentence and draw a dotted line and have them initial that there's nothing further. Then you have to write out your questions. They have to write out their answers, and it's got to be initialed. So, you go from something like that where it's just very strict and just, I feel like there's just a needless stuff on there. And then, coming into civilian law enforcement, it's not like that at all. It's common sense. It's user friendly. It's victim friendly. It's so much easier to do. Yeah. So and just that, and like discretion wise, that's what I enjoy about this job is, yeah, our job is to enforce the laws, obviously, but there's discretion that comes with it. You don't have to, do everything by the book. It's, you got to understand like the communities you're serving. Not everybody. You got to have a feel of who you're working with or working for, I should say. You don't want to go in there and I'm trying to think of how the word is properly here, but no, it's a lot easier. It's a lot more friendly for us and for the public. That, I guess that's the best way I can put it.
Yeah. And I guess like with the military, it's you hit on a big thing there was discretion. I'm going to talk about that a little bit here in a second, but it's so robotic and it kind of takes the human element out of things. And it sounds like that's the major difference in the civilian side. You're able to not just be yourself. I mean, not let things slide, but you can be yourself and really make a difference in the community. Now, discretion, is that something that tends to happen more with time, like through life experience? Do you
Yeah, I
think?
think that. Yeah, no, I think that's the case because when you first start out, and I think most people when they first start out, they might fall in that trap, or I shouldn't even call it a trap, but they might find on that where they feel like they might have to just do it because, well, this is a law. Maybe this is what I got to do. But then the more experience you get, the more you find that, you can, there's more ways to do things. You don't have to do it a set way. You can, find other alternatives. I like to try to work with people as best as I can. At the end of the day, I still got to do my job and enforce the law, but there's ways you can do to help people out and not make it so miserable on them, and make it professional, make it from their aspect as pleasant of an experience as it could be. That's what I try to do. That's what everybody I work with tries to do. We try to work with our community best we can, because it's so small up here that we depend on our community as much as they depend on us. It's a team. It's a team thing. It's not just us versus them. That doesn't exist up here, and that shouldn't exist anywhere. That's I love the type of police work we do up here. It's like I said, being a small town, we work with the community, and we rely on them as much as they do for us.
Yeah, no, that's the going on to that too. Do you think not having discretion, and that's not to say like those who don't have life experience or anything are doing harm by being a police officer. I by no means don't want to make that the message. It's a learning experience. But do you think like coming out and running and gunning and ticketing everybody for everything, do you think in the end that might do more harm? I don't want to say harm. I guess harm is maybe not the best word, but do you think that might not be bode too well for that officer as far as like trying to make a career out of being a police officer?
Well, you certainly can do it that way. I mean, the way I look at it is like, yeah, you're justifying doing whatever you got to do, because you're as far as just as well as if you're enforcing the law. I mean, you're enforcing the law. You're still doing your job, but and I guess it depends where you're working at, because if you're in a big city, you probably have a little bit more leeway with that as far as writing all kinds of traffic tickets, and you can do that absolutely, but I don't find that as that shouldn't be your primary goal. Your primary goal should be, enforcing the law, doing your job, but making a positive difference. Not everybody needs to have a speeding ticket. Not everybody needs to be cited for every little thing we do or that they do. Or it's I wouldn't say that there's harm done, but it's you don't want to come across as being like someone that doesn't have no empathy or sympathy for somebody. You don't want to be known as somebody that's like that, because that's going to spread really quick, and your coworkers are going to see that. And
Yeah.
We generally don't have that type of issue up here, thankfully, and that's something I'm really proud of. With our department and the neighboring departments, I feel like
Eh,
we're pretty good. Like I said, it's a small community up here, so you can't get away with doing stuff like that up here.
Yeah, and that's good, because I think it takes away some of maybe I guess the anxiety maybe some people have when like I guess coming through experiences with law enforcement, especially for the first time, whether it be things they've saw or heard. So they might have anxiety. So you can have a pretty good opportunity to make a difference in that person's life on how they view law enforcement.
Yeah, no, and there's been a lot of that, especially with the, things that have been going on. There's people that are, um, they've never been stopped by the police before, or, they don't know what to do, or they legit are, nervous and stuff. But it's, I feel that's kind of my job, and, to to ease them, to, be professional and be like, hey, I'm going to respect you or respect me. Let's have a pleasant experience while we're talking to each other. Let's just, that's how that's how I do it. I haven't had any issues with it, but I love every interaction I have with the public. That's part of even if it's a traffic stop. That I just enjoy the talking to everybody and meeting new people and just learning about them. That's it's a positive experience.
Yeah, it shows that you're genuinely interested in their their well being, and that you're doing your best for the community. Have you had like anybody blatantly tell you like I guess thank you, or kind of like drop that weight of the shoulders off after their first experience, like holy crap, this wasn't that bad at all, like that was actually a pretty good experience, whether they got ticketed or not?
Yeah, no, I think that's happened to pretty much everybody up here. Because, like I said, it's a small community up here, so you can't get away with, being disrespectful of people. And, we, most of the time up here, if you stop somebody, you're going to see them many more times throughout your career. And, you want to maintain a good relationship with everybody you come into contact with. Um, I, I think everybody around here feels that way. But yeah, I think the one thing that keeps me going, well, there's a lot of things that keep me going in this job because I love it, but I've had a couple people, for drunk driving. I remember I had this one person tell me, I stopped him. This person was probably like a year and a half after they were arrested for a drunk driving case, and I walked up and they said, "Hey," they shook my hand and like, "Hey, thanks for what you did. Because of what you did, I got sober and I haven't drank since." And so stuff like that just keeps me like, you know what, once in a while you need to hear something like that just to help keeping you motivated. And we're fortunate we live in an area where we have very good support around here, and I'm thankful for that. I know everybody else is thankful for that, and don't take that for granted because I know not everybody gets that same experience.
Yeah, and that's I guess even if you get one person that it makes that big of an impact on, I mean, even if you do a 20, 30 career, that's a pretty significant impact to make on somebody's life, even though initially it was something that kind of costed them, but it was for the benefit of the bigger picture.
Yeah, no, and that's we all make mistakes, so that's I think it's just with anything, you just learn from any mistake you make and just keep one foot in front of the other and keep moving forward.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going off because you talked about drunk driving. And if you don't want to answer this, you can just say you don't want to answer it just because I don't want to put you on a spot or anything, or make it seem like one offense is more greater than the other. But when it comes to protecting or being engaged with the community, is there any like certain thing that you take more precedent over, whether it be trying to get drunk drivers off the road compared to speeders and stuff like that? Or is
Yeah,
it pretty much every situation you just deal with?
well, you try to focus on as much as you can because like I said, it's a small town, so some people they want to see doing more. Someone might say, "Well, why aren't you guys running more?" Radar. There's people speeding here or whatnot, and it's so you got to take all that into account. And I guess for me, drunk driving has been my number one go to as far as trying to, you know, I'm sure know people just like I have that have died from drunk driving or they severely injured somebody or there's so many lives that have been changed because of that, and that's something that's totally preventable. So that's something I try as hard as I can to make sure that nobody has to go through that pain. That the last thing I want to do is be knocking on someone's door and letting them know that somebody was killed by a drunk driver. That I don't want that on anybody's shoulders. So that's I put that like at the top of my own personal priority list is trying to get to prevent people from drunk driving.
Yeah,
That's what I try to do.
yeah. Not only making a difference in like somebody else's life, but even in their own. Because I mean, many of these people, when they're drunk and all that stuff, when they sober up and then realize the gravity of the situation that just happened, like I'm sure at the end of the day, they'd rather have been taken to jail to detox than injuring or God forbid, killing somebody.
Yeah, and I will say like with that, like the one thing I do like about being in a small town up here too is all of our guys, like everybody's got their own little specialty, I should say. So yeah, but everybody, not everybody's out there looking for drunk drivers. Some people are looking for other stuff. Some people are very good with the medical stuff. Some people are very good with other things. So it balances the departments out. So I feel like everybody's pretty well rounded. Because where you might lack in skill, somebody else in the department's very good at, and where they might lack in, you're very good at, or somebody else is good at. So it's a good teamwork type of thing here. So
Yeah, and it's pretty easy for you guys. Like if you have a situation that you're not used to, or maybe you something you haven't encountered to a while, it's pretty easy to get a hold of somebody, whether it's from a different department, to help you out, right?
yeah, and that's the thing up here, like that. Touching on the small town policing, it's unique up here. What I like about the small town policing is no matter what, I shouldn't say every call, but most calls you get, you're responsible for those calls from start to finish. So if I get a call, I'm responsible for it. It's my job to investigate it, to do all the legwork, to talk to everybody, which I enjoy doing that. Everybody enjoys doing that. We don't have the luxury of just like, oh, we're gonna give this to the detectives unit, or we're gonna have so and so go investigate this. That's yeah, we don't. And I know the bigger cities obviously have the resources for that, so they can do that, and they obviously have more call volume and all that stuff gets taken into account. But again, that's why I like the small town policing up there. You get to see everything from start to finish. That's what I enjoy about this job.
Yeah, and especially I mean not only because you're my brother and I did ride along with you, but you're very proactive while you're at work. And when you come across those situations, the more you do it, the easier it becomes, and you can kind of become like a mentor to somebody else.
Yeah, and that's it. Anything with, I guess that's true with anything you do in life. The more you do it, the more practice you get at, the better you're going to be getting, and the more confident you're going to be. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of people that are proactive. I like you said, I like to be proactive, but that doesn't mean you're going in and kicking in doors and see what you see on TV, where you're just like, oh, that cop's being overzealous or something like that. No, it's uh, yeah, I'll stop a lot of cars or whatnot, but I'm not writing tickets unless it's something that needs to be addressed. Like I said, a lot of it I'm just making sure there's nothing more serious going on, and I just like the interactions, or just letting people know like, hey, you need to slow down, or hey, your headlight or your tail lights out, just go get it fixed. Just stuff like that. But when you start doing that stuff, you do find other stuff that comes along that you weren't expecting sometimes, and that's just part of what comes with experience. And then you start to look for other stuff, and it's you learn as you go, and the more you do it, the more you learn, just like anything else.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly said. And going on that, hitting with the proactive too. If nothing else, if you're even patrolling for hours, at least people are seeing that you're out and about, so they know that at least somebody's out there around in the community, and if they need you, they'll know where to find you. I mean,
Yeah,
besides the department, but
and that's part of the thing, just being out there, being letting people know that you are out there and that you are available. And I think most of us do a pretty good job at being approachable. You want to be approachable for the community. You want them to be able to come up and talk to you. And I think most people, our guys especially, I know that they like those engagements. They like talking to people. I love seeing little kids. We give stickers all the time. That's always fun. That's when the little kids come up and they're like, ooh, and you can hand them a sticker, and that makes their day. And it's just gives a good impression from them, and it's I don't know, it's a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoy everybody that I've come into contact working with in the community here. It's a lot of fun.
yeah, you in the summer, even when there was that birthday party, wherever at the beach there, and those kids just lit up when you hit the lights for them and stuff. So even something similar like that, like I've said it before to you, but like to me, that means much more in making a difference in the community to compared to like my last career here in the sports industry. So you hit a lot on that with the community engagement.
Yeah, no, and then yeah, I mean, I guess there's I lost my train of thought here. I was going to mention something along the lines of the differences between the small town policing and the big city policing styles, but I don't know. I lost my train of thought on that.
Oh, that's all right. It can be quick to be lost, but we can cover other things too. Um, uh, sorry, I'm skimming over some of these questions here. I don't want to ask you the same thing. I just want to bring up one after your time at the academy. So once you finished, I know you said you started off the sheriff's department stuff. How long did it take you, like ballpark, I guess, before you were able to get on full time?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess it's going to be different for a lot of people, and it depends where you go. Um, so once you get, and I'm sure you've probably touched on that, but like once you graduate the academy, how you get hired is you got to pass the MCOL's Mission Commission on Law Enforcement Standards. You got to pass your licensing exam, which basically allows you to be a police officer, and you just got to find a department that'll hire you, and then that's how you get that going. So I came back. I think I started at the sheriff's department. Right away, I started with them actually because there was a lot of part timers were already working when I came up, so there wasn't too many openings. So at the sheriff's department, I did a lot of working with it in the jail and stuff like that. But that took me, about a month to start working there, and I did part time for oh, maybe a little bit over 2 years. And then just out of nowhere, a bunch of full time openings came open. So all of us that were part time were able to get into a full time spot. So it worked out pretty good. But yeah, I'd say especially nowadays, there's a lot of need for cops. So you could pretty much probably go anywhere and get hired as soon as you're out of the academy.
Yeah, that's especially with the whole COVID stuff we've been going through for a couple of years now. So for anybody that's listening to this, if that's a worry of yours about losing a job or losing your career, that certainly happened to me, and I really wish I would have gone to the academy in 2020. But I guess 2 years later is no different. So you're always going to have that job security when it comes to the line of work as a police officer.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing is like do your job good. As long as you're doing your job and you're, I don't know, you can go to sleep at night knowing you have stability. But because it's you're always going to need cops, you're always going to need doctors, you're always going to need teachers, you're always going to need those professions. They're going to be needed no matter what's going on. So that's
Exactly.
And I would also suggest that if it's something you are interested in pursuing, definitely do some ride-alongs and go in different departments, go different areas if you're able to. Because, like I said, there's going to be differences from a big city how they do things compared to us in a small town. You get a bigger city like I know one of my friends that works up in Detroit. There, they got gang units and warrant units and this and that, and they got everything different, all types of different things you can do. There's not a whole lot of that up there, but a lot of people might like, hey, I'm going to go do the warrant stuff. I'm going to go and get this and that. Yeah, we need those types of people that are going to do that. Me, I'm too old for that, and I don't like it. Like I said, I like the small town policing. I like the getting out with the community and have more presence and being more community involved. I like that aspect. I don't really, as far as doing the big city type of stuff, hasn't really appealed me. But I would suggest that anybody that is interested in pursuing this line of work, go do a ride along in a big city. Go to a small town. Just you can see the differences for yourself, and make your own opinions, or draw your own conclusions from what you see.
Yeah, going with the ride-alongs, not only to find out if it's truly what somebody wants to do for a career, but job-wise, do you think doing frequent ride-alongs with departments can potentially help a candidate's potential for getting hired after the academy?
Yeah, again, this might differ from area to area, but generally speaking, especially in smaller communities, I'm going to touch base on smaller communities because that's where I've always worked. But yeah, you definitely want to. It gets a face. They get to put a face with the ride along. So they're gonna, if you do go and apply to that department after you're done with an academy, they're gonna remember you. They're gonna recognize you, especially if you are someone that they think would fit in. I think that is probably gonna be true for a lot of areas. If you're doing a ride along, that will definitely be the case.
Yeah, no, and that's good to know. So, and when you're on a ride along, I probably ask so many darn questions, but try to learn as best as you can, because you don't want to go for 4 hours and not ask anything and just go, yeah, this is what I want to do. And then when you actually go to do it, be like, well, this sucks. Like, I don't want to do this. So ask a ton of questions, especially with a great department that's proactive. Again, being proactive is just being engaged in the community. So you get an opportunity to see what a day in the life of that officer is like.
Yeah, and some days, it's I've had quite a few people come to ride-alongs, and and there's gonna be some days where there's nothing going on or you can't find anything to do. I mean, but just being out there and trying to be engaged as you can be, and just I'm fortunate that everybody that has come on right along with me has asked lots of questions. So to me, I like that because it shows that they are interested in doing this type of thing. And I don't know, that's I've enjoyed my experiences with showing people around and just getting them a little bit of insight of what we do.
Yeah, that's good. And it kind of got to be a people person. So when it's people riding along, or whether you're arresting somebody, or I mean, even making a kid's day, lighting up the lights and sirens.
Yeah, and I think you know I think in more so in bigger departments, you probably run out with people who, after a while get burnt out. Um, I don't ever see that happening to me, honestly. But like I said, we're so engaged with the community here that it's everything's for the most part everything's so positive around here that it just keeps you going. Like I enjoy every minute of it. It's to me that's huge. If you love what you're doing, you're not and you don't ever feel like you're working. I mean, you just keep going.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, especially when you got great colleagues around you, not only in your own department but the departments around you. I mean, it's a win-win all around.
Yeah, I will touch. I will say definitely this line of work have a good support network. That's because there's going to be some stuff that's going to be hard. There might be some calls that are difficult to go through. I'm fortunate that my wife is very understanding of that. She's very, she's helped me get to where I've been, or if I'm need to vent or talk about stuff, she's always been open ears, and she's encouraged me to, do a lot with my job as far as if there's additional training and stuff on. Yeah, because if you got a family member that's, not willing to do that, it's gonna be tough for you because there's gonna be days where you got to go training for a couple of days out of the area, or you got to go here, or you got to go there, or you got to get called in to work a shift. And if you got someone that's not understanding of that, that's gonna make it. It's gonna make it a hard home life.
Yeah, and then
I'm fortunate that that's not the case with me.
yeah, and then if you don't have that good home life either, or even just the spouse to be able to help take some of that load off. I mean, I imagine at some point it's gonna impact your work if you're not doing anything about it. I mean, it's especially when you're holding it in, whether you're not speaking to your colleagues about anything or your spouse. So that's good that you have that support system.
Yeah, no, and you just find ways to work with it because like at my household, we both have full-time jobs. The kids are in school, so it's like there's you got to bring them to school. Then there's after school stuff, and then there's just always work stuff, and it's just yeah, it's got to be a good teamwork at home too, as much as you are at work too. Well, more so at home because you got to a lot more priorities. That's where you should be having more so your priorities at is the home life. But it definitely helps having someone who's understanding of that. So I would just say if that's something you are going to pursue, coming to law enforcement, that's something you need to understand that there's going to be times where it's going to be hard, where you're going to be, you know, your relationships might be put to some stuff that you've never experienced before. I'm not saying that was the case with me, but I'm just saying in general, people coming in this line of work, they might find that. So if you're able to have someone that you can lean on, that's okay with that. That makes it a lot easier on you. And fortunately for me, that's always been the case since I've been a cop.
Yeah, you can't ask for that. So it's very fortunate to. I guess I don't want to say very fortunate, like it's a rare thing to come across, but I mean that is a big thing that people need to consider.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So again, if you don't want to answer this, you don't have to, because I don't want to by all means bring up anything. Or is there like a is there like one particular instance that you find was probably the hardest thing you've ever had to experience?
I'm not going to get to specifics on some stuff, but the hardest stuff is anything that's involving kids. That's I'm a dad, so anything that involved with kids and you see them in unfortunate situations, it's really that's the toughest stuff for me. And I know other people, it's probably same or there might be different stuff, but that's why again it's important to have not take anything for granted. And we've all been guilty of that, myself included. But when you see stuff like that, at the end of the day, it's like what, be thankful for what you have. Go home, make that make sure your relationships at home are good too. don't take anything for granted.
That's well put. It was actually one of my mentors I just saw posted online or something along the lines of when I die or when I leave this earth, it's not the things I get to take with me, it's the things I've left for other people. So that's
Yeah, and that's I guess that's what I want to. That's what I always think about too. Is even a lot of times at my shifts, I'm like, what could I have done better? Or if I was on a call, what could I have done better? What could I have done that was, might have smoothed things better than what I did? Or, I'm always constantly assessing, and that comes from the military. Um, the after action reviews, as we call them, the AARs. Yeah, it's. I think you should always be assessing everything going on with your life. Especially with when it comes to this type of work, you should be always looking yourself in the mirror, like, what do I got to do to make myself better? What to help the community out? That's something I thoroughly enjoy. Like I said, is serving the community. And uh, when I do leave this earth, I want to be able to look back and say, you know what, I did do something productive with my life. I hope I made a difference. I believe I have. And if it's only one life, that's well worth it in my books.
Yeah, especially no, that's a fantastic viewpoint, and especially when you're wearing a uniform, something you got to take pride in and stuff. But everybody should feel that way. But there's some jobs we've all had them where it's easy to get kind of lazy through, or just like I don't want to do this the rest of my life. But like in your instance, like when you look at yourself in the mirror, like I got to give my best today. There's a lot of people relying on me, so I got to keep my A game. So
Yeah, and that's something I'll say too, that anybody that's interested in going to this, just be aware too of where you're working. You're going to be, you know, uh, there's going to be some days where you're expected to wear a lot of hats, so to speak. One day you might have to be doing medical stuff. One day you might have to be doing something completely different. One day you might have to be talking to someone who's going through a mental health crisis, and you gotta be able to talk them through it and help them out and get them to where they can get some help. So you got to be prepared to be doing a lot of different things, because it's not just police work. You do a lot of other things, especially in the small towns.
And I guess kind of hearing your talking about the experience and stuff, like compared to going like the big cities, and you talked about like the kicking indoors and stuff. When you go to Iraq 2 times, you kind of get that adrenaline out of the system a little bit. But do you think all of that uh, life experience and the ability to deal with multiple different backgrounds and cultures, do you think that's why it's been kind of a great experience for you in a small town, because you've already lived so much of that, you can easily relate to people?
Yeah, and I think that's I've always said kind of along those lines that you should get as much life experience as you can if you're going to come this route. Yeah, because you're going to be thrown in a lot of things, and you gotta be able to relate to people. You got to be able to be empathetic with people and understand where they're coming from. You got to understand their backgrounds. You can't just look at them through a preconceived idea you might have had. That doesn't work, and that's not the way this should be done. Definitely, I mean, that the best thing about the whole military thing was you work with everybody from different backgrounds, different religions, different, from all over the country and other countries even. I mean, we had a couple guys that weren't even from the United States, but they just came in, they started serving to get their citizenship. And you learn to work as a team. You get to learn about different people, and that definitely has carryover. And I'm sure that made my life way easier in law enforcement. I have to believe it has, because that was a huge part for 5 years.
Yeah, and to continue on this, do you think like, well, I can't say do you think, I'm probably, I mean, it's for sure going to be yeah, but I mean like those experiences, especially when you come across um, people who are in, whether it be unfortunate situations and all that stuff, but somebody who makes mistakes. So like maybe you come across another veteran who maybe did a DUI or something like that, and he tries to throw it, well, I got, I'm a veteran, man, I got PTSD and all that stuff. Like, but that's something you can relate to. Like, I mean, kind of calm the situation down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that actually had to happen quite a few times. No, and and I see that too. Like anybody, not even just in this line of work, just people that you meet, even the civilian, when you're just in civilian clothes. Anybody that I've met that's had prior military, you pretty much get that instant connection to almost like, hey, we're family. Like, that's um, I would say absolutely. I mean, that's it's so much easier to relate to them, to understand what they're going through, and maybe try to help them out to get through this. That what it might it might if it's the case where it's a DUI. Yes, this isn't fun right now. I mean, it sucks. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's a mistake. You don't like. I always try to tell people, don't let mistakes define who you are. We all screw up. We all wish stuff we could do stuff over again. Um, don't let that one act define who you are. Because at the end of the day, it's a simple mistake. Just learn from it, and move on with your life and learn from it. That's the biggest thing. I know I've tried the best I can to learn from my mistakes. But
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. Anybody that's got I've run into it, the veteran, anything with a veteran background, it's there's that instant connection. I've found that quite a bit.
yeah, adapt and overcome. That's perfectly said about not letting the mistakes and stuff define you. That's that's from I had a question I was going to go with that, and I completely brain farted on it. Um, Crap. Oh, I'll see if it comes back to me because I was going to ask you this when we were talking about any hard times that you've gone through, and especially having outlets and stuff. Is there another any outlet that you really enjoy that really takes a lot of the stress off of the shoulders, to help
Yeah,
kind of make it easier on your family too?
yeah. There's obviously from the time we were kids. I mean, I can be a gaming nerd a little bit, so I mean, a lot of times at nighttime, I'm at home staying awake. I'll just throw a PlayStation on for a little while and just do some gaming. But certainly, playing guitar. Um, I like to exercise. I try to make that a priority. I shouldn't even say. I kind of felt selfish at times, even just saying that. But you know, I feel like in this line of work, you should want to be active a little bit, even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just walking, just to maintain health and fitness. And um, for you owe that to you. You owe that to your family. You owe that to the people you work with. You owe that to the community. That's how I view it. That's why I take it so serious. I try to get in there and you know just exercise a couple times a week. Just if you have any stress that you need to get rid of, it's a good way to. And you don't even have to do it that way. You can just find something. Just go in and walk on the beach, or just go outside and just breathe some fresh air or something. Just find something that you can do to help mitigate any stress that you have.
Yeah, the physical and mental health. You guys have a gym at your department, right?
Yeah, yeah. I know. There's so I've come in before I had a gym at home. I mean, I've invested some of my own, which again, I'm thankful Katie was on board with that, because that makes it easier to do it at home as opposed to going to a gym. But yeah, that's we do have one. People come in and use it in their off time and whatnot. It encourages people to I like it because it's encouraging you that if you wanna be active, if you want to do that, we have the resources available for you to do it if that's what you want.
Yeah, that's awesome, especially when we talk about stress management, mental and physical health. I did a recording earlier today about physical fitness and preparing for the academy. So now we're talking about training. Um, when do you think people should start physically training to prepare themselves for the academy? Like, how far out do you think?
Yeah, and it's going to be different for everybody, because if you're already in decent shape, I I would always say at least a couple months. I know I was doing, and I went to the condensed one. So the PT standards I had to meet was the MCOL's exit standards. I don't remember exactly what those were, but before I went in, I had to pass the MCOL's exit standards for their fitness test. So I went several months before I went to the academy. Even I'd do the shuttle run. I'd do that probably every single day. I did that, and I was doing it in the snow, so you're breathing in cold air. And then when you could go do it in the gym, it's a lot easier to get through it. But you definitely you don't want to go there and then you just can't perform and then you don't pass. So I would say you got to give yourself a couple months, and you don't have to go crazy training stuff, but just even if you just do it a couple times a week, just so you get some, maybe every other day, just do a light run or do the half a mile shuttle run. Do a couple push ups or I know they do sit ups and stuff, which we know how those are, but
Yeah.
that's the test. But you definitely should be throwing them in if that's what the PT test is.
Yeah, you
Just doing
there's no
it a couple
excuse.
times. If you do it every other day, you get the more frequent you do it, the better you get at it, and the more you're going to be able to do. So, you know,
Yeah, and it's I got a fun story about that too. But I honestly didn't when I went to the army. All I did was run pretty much to our mailbox and back a couple of times a week. And when we went to boot camp, that was a big rude awakening because all the push-ups and flutter kicks and bear crawls and stuff, my body was not prepared for that.
yep, that's where. So, like when I went, I had even the military. I was running probably several miles every other day. So the running portion didn't bother me at all, and the push-ups didn't really bother me at all because I was doing this even when we were seniors in high school. As soon as because I did the delayed entry, so I was November, so 17. So I was already preparing at that point. So it wasn't too bad for me because I was already, preparing for it. But there's guys who never prepared for it, and that first day, I mean, you can tell it shows, But
Yeah,
I would say you want to give yourself time because if you do too much right away, you're gonna wreck your body, and then you're not gonna be able to heal, and you're gonna run into overuse injuries, and it's just gonna make it hard. So you give yourself a couple months to do it. You can break your body in and give it time to adjust and adapt and be ready to go.
fantastic. That's you pretty much summed up that entire episode in that one statement right there. That's awesome. So the story I was telling you about is, and I won't take up too much more time, just because I know you got stuff to do on that. But going on this fitness thing, I was listening to another podcast, and there was a candidate who just graduated from, I think it was Baker's. I don't know what it is, the one in California, but he did all of the preparing for the interviews and researching the departments and stuff. And his first day of the academy, the drill instructors came barging in. He literally said, "I'm not ready for this," and ended up quitting the first day because he did no physical preparation or mental preparation whatsoever.
Yeah, no, and that's something you got to do too. And the biggest thing I'll tell you, and what actually got me through in the military side of it, because I read up on it before going, somebody's experience on going in. Don't ever take things personal when you're when you're going through training. If someone's yelling and hollering at you, don't take it personal. It's you don't want to be, go through training and never experience that, and then you get out on the road or you get out in the community and you do find someone who's going to yell and scream at you and you've never had that before. You're probably not going to react the way that you should. So the whole point of that is to take you out of your comfort zone, to get you, you don't want to be used to anything that's going on. So take you out of your comfort zone, see how you react, get you somewhat used to doing that. Make it stressful to see how you react under stress, and to make sure that you can, focus and do your task while still being stressed out.
Yeah, that's definitely very true about nothing, not personal. It's going to be weeding out those who are going to quit and those who don't. So, like you've told me many times, is keep the bigger picture in mind, and that'll help always keep you to push further than you think you could go.
Yeah, no, and that's when I always say, expect the worst, hope for the best. You go in there, just tell yourself every day you go in there, you're like, you know what, this is probably going to suck. I'm going to get yelled at. I'm probably going to do this. This is probably going to happen. And you know what? If it doesn't happen, you can walk out and say, you know what, this wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
Exactly. Embrace the suck if it happens. So,
and like I said, the biggest thing, don't take it personal. Don't, that the whole, like I said, the whole thing is to make it stressful for you to see how you react, because you don't want someone who can't react to stress to be doing this job.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what you want. So that's the whole point, is, to make it to make it harder on you to make sure that this is something you can do, and probably to make sure this is something you want to do. But just keep the bigger picture in mind. Focus on afterwards and getting in the job and making a difference. That's what you should focus on. That's what
Yeah,
should be driving.
yeah, that's it. Because the academy is only a short time, but yeah, it's a. I don't think anybody wants to. I mean, nobody should be proud to go in and go to a place and be like, yeah, we just walked to class and we shot the shit and drank our Mountain Dews and like had an easy time. Like you don't become a better person from something like that.
No, and that's yeah. And I laugh because you know the academy I went to, like I said, was the military police one, and for the most part, that's pretty much what it was sitting down and go. And we had the other academy going on at the same time, so these younger kids, a lot of them who probably never left home before were getting yelled and screamed at. And they're like, why aren't those guys getting yelled at? It's like they've already. I mean, they're in the military. They've already been through it. Like they've been through worse. It's they've done their time. That's so I chuckle at that. But yeah, I will say I'm glad Michigan has done that. I'm not sure if any other states have done that, but there's to be able to have that if you did experience in the military police. I mean that there's so much valuable experience that goes with that. And it's unfortunate that I'm sure a lot of people have missed out on good candidates because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to go through a full 18-week academy again. Like, you know, and that's kind of where I was at a little bit, to be honest with you. And so I'm glad, my wife found that shortened academy, and she's like, hey, go downstate, look into this. And it worked out really good. But I would again just touch note on that. That like 18 weeks. It may seem like it's a long time. It's not. It's gonna go by so quick. It's a short period in your life. It's it's not worth stressing over.
Yeah, busy, and you're not going through it alone. You're going through it with a bunch of other people right next to you. So
yeah, and that's one thing you look at the guy and the girl next to you, realize they're going through the same exact thing as you are. That's never alone with it, but you just gotta just keep your head in the game and focus on the bigger picture. Keep striving for that. That's all you gotta do.
that's awesome. So probably like last question or two, and then I can let you jump off here. And you can take a little bit if you need on this one. What's been the most rewarding part of your career?
Yeah, I would say, well, like I said earlier, that one person, I've actually had that happen multiple times where people have told me that that has gotten them sober, which means a lot to me because you don't know what else is going on with their life that that they've had to turn to that. So that makes me hope that things have turned around for those people. Which case, I mean, that you can't ask for anything better than that to see successful stories. I will say I like a lot of the people that I run to because, like I said, small town, you run to the same people, and same with bigger cities. It's you run to the same people over and over again. But I've seen, a few people who've had substance abuse issues, and they've gotten cleaned, and they look so much better than they, and that I've seen other people get told too, like, hey, yeah, I was in jail for this, but you know what? It helped me turn my life around. I got a foot up my butt. It made me want to change, and it changed. So I think when you can see the positive that you are doing, and that you can see that people are coming out of unfortunate situations and are able to get themselves, their feet under them and turn their lives around. That's the most rewarding thing I see with this line of work.
Yeah, I don't think there's really much else that could top something like that when you're able to make an impact and leave a lasting impression on your community. Last question. Again, you don't have to answer it if you don't want to say anything specific, but I'm just going to what one of your colleagues brought up the other day. Do you have any like a funny story or anything that happened that you can share?
Oh, that's put me on.
Again, you don't have to if you don't need because I don't want to get in the helmet of you like having to say specifics or anything like that. So
yeah, I'm trying to think off the top of my head if there's anything. Now that I'm on the spot, I can't think of anything, of course. But yeah, I can't think of anything particularly. But yes, there's been many times where I will say with this job too, there are a lot of stuff that stresses you out maybe, And it's important that you just keep calm, don't let that show, but you always look back on it later and you just laugh. I would say that, probably going on a chase 5 miles an hour across the Portage Bridge, probably right up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and you're gonna run into a lot of stuff that you can thankfully look back on and just chuckle about it. Like, what, it's stressful at the time, but you know what? I look back at it now. I can learn from it and chuckle a little bit. That what, like, it's a little bit weird, but we got through it. Yeah.
No day's the same, hey?
No, and that's what one person asked me the other day. They're like, "Hey, I can't remember what exactly it was, but pretty much it's like, oh, what are you expecting to do at your job today?" And I was like, "That's what I like about this job. I never know what to expect. I come in, but whatever comes my way, and you gotta be ready for anything. You can't just, you're always on your toes to be prepared for whatever comes in. That's why I like it. There's no, hey, I'm gonna go, do this. You know, I have this 8 hour work day. I know exactly what time I'm gonna do this and what time I'm gonna do that. This is where I'm gonna do lunch, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do this. This job, it's like you might have nothing and you might get everything. So, I like that.
Yeah, it keeps boredom from happening, and again, it keeps the mental health aspect of having a purpose to do in this life when you go into
Yeah,
work every
and
day.
I would say too that like everybody around here too is really good, and I'd encourage anybody that's you could probably see that a little bit with the ride-alongs you do. Anybody that does them out there, just having partners you can count on. And I feel like everybody that I work with is, the same thing as like a family, pretty much. That you can joke around, their families, them. It's like it makes it easier. You can count on them to be there for you. And if you're going through something or you're having a hard time with something, I mean, I've had many times where people are like, hey, like, what do you need me to help out on it? Not that something's been so stressful, but just, so they're always there for you to have your back. That, hey, what can I help you on with this? Or even if coworkers just checking in, like, hey, how's it going? Like, how's everything going at home? Or
That's great.
stuff like that. This means a lot because there's a legitimate care for each other.
Yeah, family away from your family, and no, that would definitely make a career. And that's just an extra bonus on the career. So last thing I'll just ask you is because I had such great experiences, not only being around the Houghton department, but even getting to meet everybody at the sheriff's department in Hancock PD. If there's anybody in the Houghton area that ever wants to do a ride along, how easy is the process?
So you just I think most of the area around here, you just got to get in touch. Just give the department a call. They'll probably be speaking to the lieutenants. Just ask them that, hey, I'm interested in possibly looking to see if I want to go to the academy or whatnot, and they'll usually set you up with somebody to do a ride along. And it's fairly simple. I mean, you can come in for a couple hours. I've had people come in for a couple hours. I've had people come that only wanted to do a couple hours and then end up staying the whole shift because they had fun. And it's like, it's that's my end game is that like I said, it's just I want to show people that a little bit of an insight. Like, what, this is. Just like anything else. It's as enjoyable as you want it to be. It can be miserable if you want it to be miserable, but if you thoroughly enjoy doing your job and serving the public, I mean, you're gonna love the job, and I hope that comes across. And that's what I try to portray. And I know everybody else that I work with, they do the same thing.
Yeah, I think that's the easiest way for anybody instead of like paying attention to social media and stuff is if you want to go out and see what law enforcement does and what they're all about, literally get a hold of them and go tag along. I mean, it might change your mindset and might lead you into a different career path.
Oh, there's I've always believed that if there's something that you see needs to change, be part of the change. Like, go in there and like for me, like I'm going to touch on the drunk driving thing. Like, where I'm passionate about it, knowing people that have been killed from that, or who have had their lives changed because of that. To me, that drives me to be like, what? Maybe I don't see as many people out there I'm not saying that nobody does. I'm just saying that, before I came to law enforcement, like, hey, I'm going to go out there and make it a point to make sure I'm keeping the road safe and that nobody has to experience this. So that helps me to have that my own personal goal to focus on something. But if you see something else that you want to do, like, hey, I might want to be a cop, but I don't like the way they do this. Well, go be a cop and try to influence change them, maybe change that.
Yeah, that's well said. Be proactive instead of just complaining or looking for the negative in things.
Yeah, and just like any job, there's gonna be pros and cons to everything. But I mean, I can't really complain about much of anything that I've over here because, like I said, it's our relationships amongst each other and the community. I feel are pretty strong and good. And when you have that, that's something we all strive for. So I can't complain about any of that because I haven't really experienced too much of that. I mean, you get your one or two once in a while that it's just like, okay, but generally speaking, the area over here. I mean, the people are awesome. Even the tourists, when we get the tourist seasons up here, people that come up here from all over the country. It's usually a pretty awesome experience, and you get to learn where they're coming from or learn a little about their background. It's always fun just to you know talk to people and keep that little engagement with the community going.
No, that's great, man. You've touched on so many things on about an hour, a little bit over an hour now. I appreciate all the info and the insight. I hope it's valuable for other people, and probably ask you to come back on again further down the road and talk about some other aspects that we didn't get to talk to today. I want to say thank you for your time. Do you got anything else? Any last thoughts or parting words you'd like to give?
Yeah, I would just say end off with, if it's something you are considering, talk to your families about it. Um, Make sure everybody's on board. Go do some ride-alongs, do some research, prepare yourself. I will stress that, prepare yourself, because you don't want to be unprepared. And the biggest way to see if you want to do it is go do a ride along. Go different departments. Even go, like I said earlier, go to a big city, go to a small town, see what the differences are. See if you have a preference from one or the other, or just to see the differences in them. And if it's something that you do want to do, I mean, you're going to see that and be like, yeah, this is what I want to do. And then, like I said, go to the academy. Don't take anything personal. It's to make it stressful. It's not meant to be so easy on you. But if you just look at the bigger picture, just get through it. Focus on the big picture, which is your career and what you want to do. But once you get done with the academy, the whole process is fairly simple. Go find a department that will hire you and certify you. Once you're certified, you get your licensing stuff all squared away. You can work as a police officer, and it's a fairly simple process. It's nothing too crazy.
No, that's awesome. Again, thank you for your time, all of your insights, your advice, and sharing some of your experiences. I greatly appreciate that. I'm sure other people will appreciate that as well.
Yeah, not a problem.
All right, stay safe out there.
All right, man. Thanks. We'll see you later.
Yep. Thank you for listening to On the Road, a law enforcement journey. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or would like to be on the show, email me at ontheroadlaw@gmail.com. And please share this podcast. Thank you.